Very good afternoon to all of the students and staff that have joined in over the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, and can you believe it? This is our last week where we need to start wrapping up and start calculating all of our winners for the particular competition. I hope that everyone has enjoyed the experience as much as possible with regards to the time constraints that some of the students have had over the last couple of weeks with regards to preparations to exams, etc. But I'm going to be going through exactly what it is that you need to know in order to where to find and draw your transaction history, and obviously where do you start selling all of your ETF trades that you have placed during the competition. Okay, so you'll see on the screen, and I've shared once you've logged in to the Easy Equities, so www.easyequities.co.za, you will obviously log in with your particular username and password, and it will take you to this particular screen. Remember that you need to click on your demo ZAR. All right, so please remember to click on demo ZAR first and foremost, straight after you have logged in, because this is the screen that that effectively will take you into that particular type of investment that we've been trading and that we have been running the competition on. All right, if you don't do that, and it might basically almost formulate a link to any one of the other particular areas. For example, your actual Rand value, your real money, I call it real money, ZAR, your tax-free savings account, your United States dollar, demo USD, for example. So please remember to click on the demo ZAR. And you will see that in the top, on the top right next to the Easy Equities trade name, you'll see account overview. Okay, so when you click on account overview, this basically gives you a synopsis of all of the ins and outs of your various trades, your buys with regards to the last since the competition has started. All right, so please note that the transactions that you are going to draw will only be for the duration of the competition. So, for example, you're looking at my particular profit and loss percentage, and also the Rand value. Okay, the profit and loss and the Rand value that I've accrued in this particular competition to date from the very first day. Um, so on my portfolios that I have sold and bought, I've made a 13.27% profit. Obviously, when it's a plus, it'll be a profit. When it's a minus, it'll be red, and it'll mean it's a loss, and it'll give you the actual Rand value that I've made with regards to the choices of exchange traded funds that I've made. And it also gives me a confirmation of how much money I've currently got invested and how much I've got left to make up my 100,000 Rand portion. All right. So that just gives you a very, very nice summary, if I can put it that way, with regards to how you can view your total aggregate buys and sells at this point in time. All right. If we go a little bit down, you will get to this little block over here, which is called all holdings. So you would need to click on that particular block or holdings, and what this screen will take you into is all of your current existing exchange traded funds on the left hand side here. I've only got one left, which is the Satrix Top 40. But for you, all of your holdings, and please remember that I hope you've been just keeping record that these holdings are only competition based. So hopefully you've kept a note of all of the previous exchange traded funds that you might have invested in before the start of the competition, because you might not want to sell those at this point in time unless you've invested more money into it. But very, very simply, under all holdings, you go into this button over here that says sell. So you'll see right next to the name of the exchange traded fund, you've got the purchase value, what you bought it for. You've got the current value. Obviously, the difference between those two is the profit and your current price that it's trading at, profit and loss. And you would need to click on sell, okay? Because every single exchange traded fund, when we're going to be drawing the performances for all of the students, you have to sell all of the exchange traded funds that you have got listed currently in your investment portfolio. All right, so I'll go and I click on sell. All right, and it'll bring up this screen, which will give you a very nice synopsis. And I just want to just go down to the bottom. It'll give you a very nice synopsis of exactly how the, let me just go up a little bit here, just to give you an overview of exactly what it breaks down. So this particular screen will give you what is the last month return on this particular exchange traded fund, which is just over 10%. So very happy with that. So that's over the last 1M, which is the last 1 month. You can click on any one of these to get a 3 month, in other words, over the duration, over the whole competition. You can click on 3 months, which will give you a percentage return on that particular ETF for pretty much the duration of the competition. And it'll also give you, for the last month, it'll give you the selling, the buying, and the last price that it was trading at. And you will need to go down. All right, you would have to go all the way down, and you would see right towards the bottom right of your screen, it says that you would like to sell 100%. You need to sell 100% of all of your current investment in that particular exchange traded fund. So please make sure it must be 100%. It cannot be anything less than 100%, because remember, you are selling all of your trades in order to determine your profit. And then you click on, so 100%, and you say click on sell now. Okay, so I'm going to go and do that live. Click on sell now. All right, and it will come up with a screen. The next screen, it'll show you that you have been successful in what you have that you have just sold that particular ETF, which is the Satrix Top 40, and the trade value was 28,275 Rand. Now, you don't have to go and copy or paste any of this information. This is purely just to show you that all of you, the next step after you've logged in is to go into your demo ZAR account, your virtual trading account, and you have to sell each and every ETF first before we can determine what is the profit and loss on your account history. Okay. All right. Please, if there are any questions from any of the attendees, please let me know. But okay. All right. Now, the important part, how do we start assessing the winners? All right. Please have a look at right at the top of your screen, next to the Easy Equities brand name, you'll see 3 little horizontal lines with the word menu underneath, menu. All right. So you click on the menu icon, all right, and it's going to bring up a list of functionalities, if I can put it that way. All right, a list of functionalities, and you will go down all the way to the bottom. excuse me, all the way to the bottom, and you will click on transaction history. Okay. Once you've clicked on the menu tab, you go all the way to the bottom where it says transaction history. You click on that, all right? And then you need to put in the date. So obviously the start date that you would populate over here would be the start of the competition. And the end date would be effectively the date on which you are going to be drawing your statements, which technically has to be in within the next couple of days. So whenever you get an opportunity to basically put your end date in, that would be the date on which you are basically drawing your statement. But please note that once you have sold your particular exchange traded fund, it might take up to 24 hours for that particular sold information to reflect on your transaction history. Okay. All right. So thanks, Dominique. The statement must be submitted by 12 o'clock on the 22nd. So please note, do not leave the selling of all of your exchange traded funds till the very, very last day. In other words, for example, over the weekend or next Monday. And as Dominique mentioned, please make sure that you need to sell off all of your holdings by latest Friday afternoon, just to be on the safe side. Okay, so let's just go and put in a date, and I'm just going to go, because I started in September and I had no previous trades. I can just put there the 1st of September because it will encapsulate all of September, and let's just go for the 16th. Okay, so just to show you that obviously just please note that if you were trading before the start date of the competition, you need to put in the date of the start of the competition and the end date, and then you will press submit. Okay, submit. Right. Okay, and then what will come up after that, and it takes a little while, but you will scroll down the next screen all the way to the bottom, and it will start giving you a history of all of your transactions. And please note that depending on how many transactions you've done, you would need to submit each and every one of these pages of transactions to us, so that we can determine what is the overall profit and loss on your portfolio. Okay, so please make a note. You would need to download each and every one of those pages right up to the last page, and you would email that through to me. And thanks, Dominique, for putting my email address there. And then I will do the calculations on the total portfolio for the competition duration, who has achieved the highest profitability, obviously in percentage and rands. Okay, so to give you an idea, let's just have a look here. So the nice thing about the selling off of your ETFs, you would see that here today, just a couple of minutes ago, I had already sold off my last ETF, which is my Satrix 40, and it's already reflecting on my transaction history. Okay, so I've been warned by Easy Equities that it can take up to 24 hours, but in most cases, and I don't want people to take a chance, but when you sell off your exchange traded funds, it should reflect within a couple of hours, but due to the volume of transactions that are being sold off, it can take up to 24 hours. So you will see here, all right, that I've sold my Satrix 40, all right, and right next to it is technically my selling price, all right, which is my 6687. So that was the trading price at which I sold off at. And now I need to go and find out, what did I buy my Satrix 40 at? So I go down my statement just to confirm. If I go down further over here, you will see here on the 9th, which was a week ago, I sold my Satrix Inclusion and Diversity ETF. So I would go and how I would calculate the profit in percentage. I would take everything that is sold and I would write down what is the market value that it was sold as. And then I would basically go to my next page, which is page 2. And if I go down my page 2 and I have a look at that summary, I have a look here. On the 8th of November, I sold my One Invest Global Government Bond Index Feeder, ETF. And then on the 3rd of November, I sold my core shares, S&P Global Property ETF, and there was my selling value. Let me go to my next page, because what I'm looking for, just to show you, is what was my buying price for my ETF. All right, so this is my 3rd page of my transaction history. You'll see on the 3rd, I also sold my core shares, preference shares tracking, and there's the selling price. Now, have a look here on the 21st of October. Okay, does everyone see bought? So this is where I bought the Satrix 40 ETF that I've just sold. Okay, the date is irrelevant. What I'll be looking at is everything that was bought and what was the buying price. So remember that I would take a difference between the two. So if you look at the selling price, which was the buying price, which was 5,880, and if one remembers, if I go back to the very first page, okay, if I go back to the very first page, let's just have a look here. Okay, the very first page, just to show everybody that on the very first page, remember I've just sold my Satrix 40 ETF at 6687. So quite simply, I would take the 6687 minus the 5880 that effectively I bought it at, and I would be able to calculate that the net gain on that particular transaction is 807 Rand. Okay, 807 Rand. Okay, so remember that we will therefore take each and every one of your exchange traded funds. We will calculate what is the difference between what you sold at and what you bought at, and that will give us a particular profit. And then quite simply, we will go and we will calculate what is the total return of all of the ETFs that you've bought and sold. Okay, all right. So just to confirm, there's the buying price of the Satrix, and the difference between that and the selling price was 807 Rand. So that will go down as a plus in my portfolio, and I would do exactly the same for all of the other ETFs that I've bought and sold, and we will aggregate them all together to give us a net percentage profit or loss. And obviously the investor with the highest profit will obviously then win the competition. Okay, so Tabiso, yes, it is a percentage return, but on the total portfolio. In other words, total is all of your exchange traded funds that you bought and sold during the competition period. Okay. All right. Is everybody with me? I hope I haven't gone too fast, but is everybody with me as to how to, number one, most importantly, how do you sell off all of your exchange traded funds? And secondly, does everyone understand how the profits and losses are going to be determined by the adjudicators of the competition? All right. Nice and simple and easy. And for all of the students that are going to be using real money in the future, now you know exactly how the percentages and the Rand values are determined in the future as well. So it's a nice learning platform. Okay, so 100% right. Thanks, Dominique. The dates that you'll put into your transaction history, 21st of September to the 21st of November, just in case you were trading before the 21st of September, because it makes it very unfair on the rest of the students. Remember, the longer you've had a trade, potentially the bigger the profit you've made on that particular ETF. So please, I will be looking, and I will only be adjudicating the results from the 21st of September to the 21st of November. Okay, so when you send through your transaction statements, I'll be looking at these dates over here, and I'll be using those dates as a marker. All right, so even if you do try and sell off an ETF for a trade that you bought before the 21st of September, I would be able to see that on the left-hand side. Okay. Right, 100% right, Dominic, thanks. So you just need to make sure that you exclude any trades made before the 21st of September, just to be on the safe side. Okay. Right. Are there any other questions? I think I've tried to break it down into the easiest two steps available. Those are the only two steps or processes that you need to follow. So I'm going to stop the recording now, and then I'll open